How's it going? Ryan here, and today I'm going to go over the three trades that I took on SPY. All three of them happen to be losers. Today was CPI day, so we had data release before the market opened. I expected a big move out of today, some volatility, some volume. We got some big moves, but I was on the wrong end of a few of them. So individually, the losses were small, but altogether they added up. I probably should have stopped trading after two losses, but we'll jump into those trades in just a second. We're on the daily time frame. We have some of the levels that I was watching on the daily time frame here. None of these have changed, and I'll go into that. And then we have some levels from yesterday's session that we were looking at as well. I'll hop down into the 1 hour time chart. And I think having not looked at adjusting or changing my levels at all kind of bit me. I think I didn't do as much due diligence as I should have to look at levels pre-market to get an estimate of where we were, what I wanted to see, and relevant levels to the area that we were in. I think I was relying on just previous levels that had been playing out and didn't do, like I said, the due diligence that I should each morning to chart levels and pay attention to what price is doing in the area that we are at. So we do have the low of day from yesterday's trading session there in red. The high of day pretty much correlated with this level that I had at 448.5, so I didn't do anything specific there. We are in the 5-minute time frame, and I'll go over how things played out, the trades that I took, lessons I learned, mistakes I made, etc. We opened up. This was the CPI data drop. You can see that we wicked way down, held yesterday's low pretty well, came up, wicked around, kind of just stayed in this range that we were in the whole pre-market. So nothing too out of the ordinary there. We did find support in this area, which happened to be the low of the day. If you take a look at in some of this volatility where we found support, we did find support in this area as we were wicking. I mean, you could adjust this as you please, but we had the low of day and this support demand area from pre-market when we had the CPI data. So I didn't pay much attention to that. There's just mistakes I made early in the market without really doing my due diligence as I should. That being said, though, we opened up pretty strong. We opened up above this 446.17 level that I had, rallied all the way up. One thing that I was looking for was if we were to sell off, I was looking for a break below yesterday's low of day as well as 445. I saw 445 as a big support, so I didn't want to take a short until we had cleared both of those. To the upside, I was looking at clearing this 446.8 and then targeting this 448.5 or just 448 in general. The reason why I was looking at that is because if you look at some of this price action, you can see that these levels here, this 446.17 and this 446.8 have been a channel that we haven't been able to break above and stay above very often. So tested it here, tested it here, tested it here, tested that upper level, failed to close above it. In the pre-market, we got above it, stayed above it. In fact, that was the support of the day as we came down and then rallied higher, which I got this 448.5 level from, as well as it being some support in previous days. We test that again on this day. So I wanted to see us clear both of these levels for a potential move back up. So that influenced my first two trades of the day, which happened to be calls. We came up, we broke above this level. We opened really strong, and I liked what I was seeing to the upside, especially after these two candles. So we had these two candles print. I was a little hesitant because the candle body is so small. The price action is a little choppy. But what I did like is that we broke above this level and we held it. We wicked down, we tested it, and we held it on multiple candles. So I saw the big buying volume coming in, claiming that level, very low selling volume, holding that level, and I decided to take calls on this candle. My stop was at the bottom of this wick. If we broke the most recent little bottom here that we had, that was my stop loss. Entered on the test of this level. So entry was somewhere in here, stop loss around here, targeting a move to 448 or potentially 448.5. You can see that we didn't get that. We immediately came down. This candle got me out of my trade. That stopped me out for my first loss of the day. Overall, not bad. It's about a 10% loss or so. We came down, tested this level, this opening print pretty much, rallied all the way back up and reclaimed this level. This is where I took my second trade, and this is a poor trade. I think my first trade, yes, we were at this 470 or 447 whole level that we couldn't close above. Yes, we'd gotten lower highs, rejections. But I thought with the strength of the buying off the open that we could get a move up. So first trade I'm not terribly mad at. I had a defined entry, defined stop, defined targets. I had my reasoning. The second trade was just pretty much piggybacking off of the reasoning here. Once we reclaimed that level, failed to go lower, held the opening print, reclaimed that level. I entered calls again on this candle as we were retesting this level. Why was this a bad trade? Because I had no confirmation. Yes, we reclaimed the level here, but as opposed to this previous call that I took where we had confirmation that we weren't closing below that level, that we had tried to close below that level and then buyers had pushed us back up, here I didn't have that confirmation. I took it on the first retest and you can tell we proceeded to sell off. I set my stop somewhere down in here as well. So I did have a stop loss. I did have a target. I pretty much duplicated the trade that I took earlier. It was just bad because I wasn't patient and I didn't have confirmation on the 5-minute chart as I like to have. So sold off there, took another loss. Down about $29 at the day. This was about a $14 loss. This was about a $15 loss. Both of them around 10%. Or perhaps a little over 10%. Maybe like 15% on this one. So 2 losses there. I probably should have stopped. I had already taken a bad trade, broken my own rules, taken 2 losses. That should have probably been my sign to be out for the day. But I did want to try one more trade and try to recover my loss, which is a bit of trading with emotion, which I should try to break out of. But from here we sold off. We held this demand zone that I mentioned prior. We held this zone in here from the pre-market. We held that and then rallied to the upside. As we were making this rally to the upside, what I saw here was, we'll take a little look. We have, well, maybe a circle's better. We have, what in the world is going on? I apologize. I did not mean to do that. Either way, what I'm trying to show here is that we have volume increasing as we're selling off, and we have lower volume on the rally up. So you can see here, higher volume on the sell down, lower volume on this rally up. We retested this level, this 446.17. It was also near the opening print. We retested that and failed to close above. I entered puts here, looking for us to make a lower high and continue down. We did not. I got stopped out on this candle as we broke above this wick. So that was my third loss, my final trade of the day. As you can see, we rallied to the upside from there. We sold off later in the day. And all 3 trades, my stop loss saved me from losing more money. Each time my stop loss got triggered, we continued to move in that direction. So it saved me from a bigger loss. That's a positive. The negative is this wasn't such a great trade. Yes, we were coming up and testing this level that we had opened at, that we'd held multiple times. I thought support could turn to resistance as we came up and tested that and made a lower high. This is sort of confirmation, but we had a really big bullish engulfing here. We had another higher volume candle that came up to this level. So overall, not the greatest trade. I could have waited for more confirmation. I probably should have avoided trying to take puts here and expecting a clean move down when we were still trading within yesterday's range. So yeah, overall, not the greatest trade here, not the greatest trade here. My first trade of the day, probably not the best, especially looking at these lower wicks, wicking off that 447 level. But I at least had a plan and followed that plan and had reasoning behind it, so I don't feel bad about that. Overall, those are my trades on the day. You can see that we rallied up. We held this level pretty well. Once we did claim it for the second time, or perhaps the third, we held that pretty well before selling off in the evening. Levels worked out somewhat well, but I could have done better. I could have been paying more attention. I think I was off my game. I didn't do the due diligence I should. So stop trading when I'm trading bad, acknowledge it, and stick to my rule set. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. I trade live every Monday through Friday. If you feel so inclined, stop by, say what's up. With that being said, I hope you have a great day. Peace.